Just a very short video today to commemorate the fact that the confirmed cases has gone to 1 million. So I'm going to enter that on my spreadsheet, 1,056,777. Okay, 1,056,000, and it goes in green here. 1,056,777. Okay, so that's entered on my spreadsheet now. My forecast at the moment for the UK is not looking too good. I'm just going to rip through a couple of graphs here. They're on COVID-19 stats.blogspot.com. What have I got? This is what's happening in Spain. Spain is nearing its peak. I think it's peaking a bit earlier than my forecast. That's what happened with Italy. Okay, with Italy, my original forecast, which was between 5,500 and 7,000 on various days. Sort of you can almost ignore this line now because this has gone down a bit, because I'm still showing this line, but I needn't really show it. I made a new forecast based on later data, which is cutting out about a third of their total cases, actually. So this is the real data in the green bars, okay? This is the green forecast, which is the optimistic forecast. This was the original forecast, which is the kind of pessimistic forecast now. And that really is going to make it so that they get between about 150 and 250,000 cases. They could end up with about 160 or 170,000 cases, which is a lot less than what my older forecast showed. And that's because, okay, that's the Italy graph. That's the pessimistic Italy graph, which is still 250,000 compared to Spain at 300-ish and France at 400 to 450,000. All three, you know, very big, but not nearly as big as the UK. If you look at the peak new cases for Italy, France and Spain are here. The way the UK is going, we're heading for 1 million plus cases, okay? If things don't improve very rapidly. Again, cumulative cases, Italy, France, Spain, UK. That would make things very nasty here, okay? This is where we are on the trend. We're down here still, and we're on our way up. My big recommendation is don't go out in May, because May is when we're going to be at this peak here. This is the optimistic forecast for the UK, 20-odd thousand new cases a day. The pessimistic one is at 35,000 new cases a day right now. So that's really, really significant. Okay, that's an enormous number, and even perhaps up to, let's have a look, see what this says. This is the deaths, 2,000 plus 2,100 new deaths a day by May, if this carries on. Okay, so that's terrible. That's far, far, far worse than Italy and Spain. And this is kind of the most optimistic forecast for the number of beds. This is the new cases per day. Okay, as I mentioned, peaking at 22,000. This is the peak ICU and CC beds, critical care needed, if 16% of inpatients occupy beds for 14 days each, which is a typical time in the academic literature. 20,000 plus on the 24th of May. And that's the optimistic forecast. The pessimistic one is more like 35,000. Current capacity 6,491, according to a paper published, census published in Europe in 2012. Maybe 8,000 surge capacity, and they've been talking about 12,000 ventilators and stuff like that. Well, they need 20,000 plus, okay, and maybe 30,000 plus. So a lot of people are not going to get treated. So don't go out in May, okay? Do not go anywhere. You know, basically, I think that you are going to need to well, try and get in some extra food so you don't have to stay around, you don't have to hang around the shops, okay, because it's going to be dangerous. It's going to be dangerous. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with that message. Okay, this is us, and this is the other Europeans. If we don't get our act together, okay, this might get squashed in the next couple of weeks to some extent because of the quarantine, but we just haven't got the kind of quarantine that Italy's had, or that maybe they're doing in Spain now. So we're going to be still accelerating more than Italy and Spain. So this is Italy, Spain and France, and this is us. Cumulative cases, that's the kind of total. The total, okay, so some of these will recover, some of them will die, of course. Michael Gove said 40% of the cases end up as inpatients in hospital, 42%, and 16% of those go in critical care. And the death rate at the moment is 7 to 8% of all of the recorded cases, because a lot of the cases are not being counted, okay, of course. So we actually have a lot more than, as we had about 25,000 cases when I was doing this forecast. We've got 30 odd thousand now. We've got 38,000. So, you know, we're up another 10, 15% maybe from the day before. And this isn't the end of the day yet. So I'm not using these figures, I'm using the WHO figures because it's an end of day report. And why have we got a little square on here? That's kind of a little strange. Oh, that's Azerbaijan, that's why. Okay, let's have a look at the UK. UK, this is what we've got for the UK. It's not good news. 135 recovered, that's pathetic. I mean, that's probably because they've tested twice negative. One of those must be Matt Hancock, the health secretary. I bet he wasn't tested twice negative. He shouldn't have been at that meeting after isolating for 7 days. He should have isolated for 14 days, to be honest. But we've got idiots running the country, so what do you expect?